Alright guys, today we're going to be attempting to do an LG Stylo 2 screen replacement. I've never done this before, but watched a couple videos, so I think I got this down. But yeah, we'll go through this. I'll show you pretty much a person that's never done this before can do this from instruction from a video. So the easiest way I found to kind of do things was to buy a screen that already came with the housing on it, so you didn't have to use things like heat guns or anything. So you see it already comes with the bezel, and the inside's all ready to go. So I'm going to place that off to the side for a moment. But this is your LG Stylo. Yeah, it's a large phone. It's like a little phablet, but okay. So most of your tools that you're gonna need, I don't have any like plastic spudgers or anything, so I got a small screwdriver set. I got a little $5 set from Walmart. Okay, so basically everything that I've seen, what you do is you flip it over, and at the bottom right here is where you're gonna put your thumbnail in and pull off the battery compartment, and you're going to set that off to the side. When I start taking some of this stuff from the inside, I'm going to go ahead and start placing it on here, so that or on the new screen, so that it doesn't take as long. Okay, so before we do anything, alright, we remove the battery and any sort of SD or SIM card. And these things are always a little fun to do. Yeah, when they put them in here for like small fingered, like 3-year-olds or whatnot. But the only thing in here is a SIM card, so I'm just gonna go take that out. Alright, from here I believe it's 8 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I guess 11 screws. Okay, but also make sure you take out the stylus out of the front. Okay, basically the problem with this phone is that it was drop face first by its owner, and this the screen only shows up black. It lights up a little bit but doesn't show any picture, so it's pretty much dead. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove each one of these screws one by one and set them off to the side. The easiest place to put them is actually inside of your battery compartment, and from what I believe they should all be the same length and same screw. If not, I would suggest that you make some sort of diagram so that you can put this in the correct order. And so far they look to be the same. Alright, some of these screws are in there a little tight. I had to use some pressure with it, but yeah, using pressure on the old glass isn't such a bad thing. You know, it's already damaged. And Alright, now that all the screws are out, basically from here at the bottom, right in between the silver and the, or should I say by the charging port here. Try to get it in between there with your nail, like so, and just pry backwards until you start hearing or taking the clips off. Try to be careful with it though, so that you don't damage any of the clips. We don't want to do that. Some of these are a little tough. That's why a plastic spudger or something would be a lot easier, but I don't have one, so I gotta make do with my nail. Alright, so basically come all around until it starts coming undone here. You don't want to pull too hard on them because you don't want to damage the clips. So you take this bottom piece off first, like so. Alright, you don't take any components out of these. Okay, so we set that off to the side, and then we do the same thing with our nail to the other piece on the top, and you see it comes directly right off. Okay, so from there I seen them go ahead and kind of insert these little clip parts right here into these clip parts here into the bottoms of here, which there's a place they go, and just put it back together, because apparently when you snap it back on you're just gonna put it together. So we'll see how that goes later. So they snap back in just like that. Alright, from here we got to take out the motherboard, which first, before we do any of that, we have to undo some of the connectors for the rear camera, the front camera, and the screen itself. So nice and gently, yeah, pry up on the connector on all these. The screen one not so much, because you're not going to be replaced or using it no more, but for the cameras you're going to want to be careful with those, so you can just use your nail. Okay, from there be careful not to bend the ribbon cables, but push them back just enough so that you can just lift out the motherboard without damaging any components. Okay, these also have metal teeth on the bottom here, so you don't want to mess those up. So as you see, the motherboard is out. Alright, go ahead and place that off to the side. Okay, from there what we have to do is make sure that our replacement screen that we bought, or is the same type, which you should have done to begin with, but we got to make sure now that it's the right one. So it looks to me that the vibrator motor's in the same place, in the same direction. So is the rear camera, the the speaker for the earpiece, and the front facing camera are in the same place, so we should be good to go. Now on this one, you want to make sure on this screen, this new one here, that you don't bend or crease this connector when we do anything with it. Same thing with really any of them, but that's the important one, because you'll end up having to buy a new screen. Okay, so I'm not sure how these are going to be to try to get out, but we'll attempt. So again, I don't have very many prying tools. Now, like I said, I suggest that you get little plastic spudgers and whatnot. but if not, a mini screwdriver should help you. You just don't want to get too vicious with it. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest using a metal one like I'm doing, but you know, it happens. Okay, so the same direction that went in on your old one here, just place it in the same spot, same location, and just push it on in there, and it doesn't even require any force. So now your front facing camera is in its correct place. Now we are going to remove the rear facing camera. And place that where it needs to go. Okay, it looks like it has some adhesive on the bottom, but you know, we're not going to have adhesive to throw it back in here, but you could if you wanted to, but it should just go like it sits right in there. I don't have any double-sided tape, so what you might want to try to do, well, nope, that doesn't work, trying to remove the double-sided tape on the other side. So I suggest that if you want the extra security, you put that in there, but the pressure from the apertures and everything should keep that in check and in place, and so should the other piece. Okay, so after that we are going to remove the vibrating motor and get that out of the old case, old screen. This one seems like it's going to be fun. Bear with me while I figure this one out. There's not very much room to mess around on this. It's got a back lip all the way around the sides, and I'm trying not to damage anything, but if I can maybe get under, there we go. Okay, alright, got straight up under it. Like I said, I don't have any adhesives to throw any of this on there, but as you see, this fits right in. Okay, so now we're going to move this earpiece. So from the old one, there is 2 plastic pieces in here, which you may not be able to see, but that are holding onto this cable. This cable also connects to somewhere on your board, but you know, so we're not going to try to damage this too much. That's why I wish I had plastic here, so I didn't damage anything. But you know, let's go low budget on this, and what can I use? Well, one thing I do have over here is plastic knife. We can try this out. Nope, that's going to be too big. Okay, like I said, I don't advise doing this with metal and whatnot, 'cause you might mess things up, but all it is some adhesive on the bottom of this, and don't get vicious with it, just push lightly underneath and get it off of the adhesive, and there you go. You got the first connector part out. Now we have to get the speaker itself out. Okay, and we got to be careful not to crease the cable. Okay. So it looks like I'm going to have to pull on that. Okay, alright, so you see the little speaker cable. Your speaker's right there. Okay, the last two things I see that you're going to have to get out of this after you place your speaker back in to this spot right here. And push down into those plastic connectors, which I'll remove the camera real quick. Basically, you push that in and you push down your connectors right there into those two plastic pieces that you really probably can't see. So we'll go ahead and put our rear-facing camera back in. From there, it looks as if we are going to have to get the headphone jack out. And figure out kind of how that goes. I don't remember how they got this out in the first place. I believe that all they did was kind of pull it out, but you know, of course, when they redo their videos, they've done it before on the same phone. I've never attempted this before. This is the first time. So I guess before that, we'll take out this rubber piece here and we'll place it down where it goes, behind this ribbon. In that compartment. I'll go ahead and shove that in there. Not really sure what that does, but yeah, I guess we'll figure out. Okay, it looks like this is held on by adhesive too. Okay, so you just get underneath it and pry it out. Just try not to damage those little side connectors right there. Okay, so we'll put this headphone jack in its spot, and this should be ready for reassembly. Hey y'all, I just wanted to point out something two things that I did miss while putting this together. Well, currently I have those out, but I forgot the retaining clip for the stylus pen, which goes right here, which I'll put that in a little bit later, but make sure you take that out of your old screen and put that in the new one. And also this audio cable that goes for your speaker here. This flat ribbon right there. You got to take that off your old screen and put that on this one. Be very careful with that. I would suggest using a business card to get underneath that and pull that off. But just make sure you get that piece or you're not going to have any audio. So there's nothing else to move, I don't think. Now let's do a last check over. Let's flip these the same direction. Okay, so there's one more rubber piece in here, right there. This rubber piece just pops right out. I'm going to place that same direction right there. See that piece right there. Okay, so the hard part should be done. Okay, now we have to go ahead and put the motherboard back in. I wish that well, you know what, we have to take off this little blue piece right here, and we're going to stick down the connector, or the ribbon cable here. It has adhesive underneath it. Okay, you do not want to crease this though. All you want to do is put a light pressure to get it to stick, and that's it. Okay, you don't want to mess with this too much, but make sure that it fits in that little area beforehand. Okay, before you make any like permanent pushes. There are specific holes that this has to line up with. That are two plastic pieces right here and right here. Okay, so now that we got that ready, what we're going to do is bring our motherboard back and basically put this stuff back in reverse. So we will start with the top and work our way down, kind of in a way so that we don't mess up these ribbon cables. Okay, so as you see, everything seems to line up. So what we're going to do is go ahead and push these connectors back down. Once they are lined up, do not force them in. If they do not want to go, that means it's not completely lined. Okay, so once you got those in, everything else seems to be a pressure contact somehow. Okay, now the one you really got to be careful with is the screen connector here. I cannot explain to you how important this is not to crease or fold or bend too bad. So line it correctly up. Do not force this at all. Find yourself the spot, and when it clicks in, that should be good to go. Okay. From there, I want to try something that I don't know if it'll work or not, because nothing's together. But what we'll do is try. I'm going to go ahead and try to turn this on and see if the screen works before I go too crazy with this. But then again, I don't think I can do that because I think the power button is on the back. It's on something else, so no, I can't do that yet. You actually have to put this back piece on. So we'll go ahead and take the battery out again. Just figured I'd try. So from there, we make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be again. And after that, all we're going to do is reclip on this plastic piece. Okay. And before we do any screws, I guess that's where we'll figure out whether or not this actually works. And as you see, it does work. And it worked perfectly so far. Let's see what happens when it boots up. I'm sorry for the lighting in the video. I'm trying to do this in a lot different ways. Let's see if we can see the screen better at this point. We'll see. See, I'm also not sure on the battery on this, 'cause I don't know if I killed the battery or not. So, I guess since that part worked, what we'll do is we'll finish putting it together. Because I think the battery just died on me. And what we'll do is put all these screws back in, see what happens. It did vibrate when I did turn that on, so that does show me that the vibrator motor does work. The only thing I'm not really going to be able to try to do, I might be able to try to do, is make a phone call. It's not my phone, and the current SIM card that's in there is not the actual SIM card that the user uses, so I don't know if that's going to work or not. Alright, so there's no particular order to put these screws back in. You just make sure you get them all back in. If you end up with extras, you know you have a problem. Also, it's really helpful to have a screwdriver that has a magnetic tip, because you can just put it in on the end of the screw, but don't over tighten, don't under tighten. So basically hand tight's good enough. You don't have to, like, it's not like you're changing stuff on a car and you have to have a torque wrench or anything like that. But basically, as you've seen, if this all works out in under 30 minutes, you can have yourself a fixed screen on your phone, and you didn't have to actually worry about, you know, replacing the screen itself, because you can buy them, you know, with the whole unibody up front or on the front side, and all you do is you take out the insides and use the back cover, which is a lot easier. And putting in the last screw. Okay, so we'll put the battery back in at this point. Snap on the back cover. Well, I forgot something. So pull that back off again and pull the battery back off, and we'll reinsert this SIM card back in. By the way, this is my mother-in-law's phone, so hopefully I did it right, or I'm never going to hear the end of it, right? Just kidding. Okay, so let's try this with plugging in a charger. Let's see how this works. Okay, so I get a charging screen, so that's a good thing. Yep, it was a dead battery. That was the problem I was having before. Okay, so we'll go ahead and try turning this on. Vibrator just got turned on. So far so good. This one does seem to take a while to boot up though. You see, it's track phone. Alright, so you see that works so far. Ooh, and the touchscreen works perfectly fine. Okay. Oops, Amber Alerts, huh? Alright, so everything seems to work with that. So Thank you for watching my video. I'm pleased that you could be here, or that you watched my video, and that I could possibly help you out. With that being said, please like, share, subscribe, watch my other videos on how to do some crazy things. Other than that, you know, if you come into any issues, just go ahead and send me a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can with how to work on these this phone. So it was really easy. Also in the description, I'll put in the links of what I bought, who I bought it from, and I believe I got this actually off eBay for $53, and that came with the whole unibody. Alright, well, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Thank you.